Franklin County Board of County Commissioners is now back in session. Up next is our Planning and Zoning Adjustment Board report. Mr. Steve, please proceed.
Okay, I have two critical shorelines that can be considered as one motion, or they can request as a separate motion.
How does the board want to move forward? You want to do them both as one, or separate them, or how do you want to do it?
Mr. Chairman, I don't have any issues with either. I feel like
Okay.
we can do both of.
All right, if you would just read both and we'll
Okay.
consider them together.
331 Land Street, a consideration of a request to construct a 721 square foot single-family dock with one covered boat lift. Request submitted by Florida Environmental Land Services, agent for Haddon Bennett applicant. And the second one is 2280 Highway 98, a consideration of a request to modify an existing single-family dock, changing 18 square foot of the existing terminal platform into a drop dock. Request submitted by Florida Environmental and Land Services for Haddon Bennett.
Okay, what's the pleasure of the board?
Mr. Chairman, I'll make a motion to approve both.
Okay, so we have a motion to approve by Commissioner Ward.
Mr. Chairman, I'm sorry, let me change that. P and Z approved contingent on state and federal permits, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Then I will make my motion contingent on the state and federal permits.
Okay, so it has been modified with a motion to approve contingent on state and federal permits being received. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
We have a second by Commissioner Amison. Any discussion, Commissioner? All in favor? Any opposed? That's unanimous. Go ahead, Mr. Steve.
Okay. Special exception and variance request for 3567 East Highway 98. A consideration of a request to construct a 250-foot communication tower. The applicant is requesting a special exemption and variance to exceed the 47-foot maximum building height by 203 feet as required in R1 single-family residential zoning. The property described as parcel ID number 35-06 South-03 West-1000-000 East-0000, St. Teresa, Franklin County, Florida. A request submitted by Jonathan L. Yates, agent for Summer Camp Beach LLC applicant.
Commissioners, I have Mr. Yates is attending if you have any questions.
Okay, does anyone have any questions for Mr. Yates? What is the pleasure of the board?
Motion to approve, Mr. Chairman.
All right, we have a motion to approve by Commissioner Sanders,
Second.
second by Commissioner Ward. Is there any discussion, Commissioners?
I just have one statement.
Yes, ma'am.
Hopefully we'll get us some towers in here and have some phone coverage somewhere.
Yes, this one is, what did he say at the meeting? AT&T?
There's a
and the
couple other
primary
ones.
is like, is for like Yens Value, that one?
This one is for Summer Camp.
Summer Camp,
Yeah,
I'm
Summer
sorry.
Some can-
But it
got-
should cover that whole area.
We've got
And
we've got one at Yent's
Yeah.
that is it's already constructed, and they are
Yeah.
in the process of putting antennas on it. So.
And Mr.
Oh.
Chairman, sorry,
had that for
for
long.
the, when I was looking and researching all of this, I think he said there was AT&T was the provider, but there was a potential for two other providers
Yes.
to be able to use the same tower.
And at P&Z, I told Mr. Yates, I'm gonna let him talk, cause I said, I have a commissioner who's gonna ask you about 65. He said,
Yeah,
well, let her
let's-
go ahead, so let me allow Mr. Yates to talk.
Well, I don't know
said
if he has anything to do with
he said
anything
he would have
about
an
Highway
answer for
65.
you.
Oh,
That's what he
okay.
told
Well,
me.
if that's the
So,
case, then.
Mr. Yates, if you would unmute, the chairman will address you.
Michael, thank you so very much for all your help throughout this process. And Mr. Chairman, Jonathan Yates, and members of the commission, thank you very much. We've had a heck of a fall, and we had a little scare, but last week I was saying there cannot be another hurricane coming towards us. So what is this? I was joking about this with the P&Z. During this time of year, I wake up every morning and I go to a website called Mike's Weather Page. I don't know if y'all ever seen it, but I start my day with that, and then I go and pray. Yeah, the purpose here, the facility is designed for AT&T. It's also designed for at least 2 additional broadband carriers. You got that stretch of 98 is going to cover. We're right across from the Marine Lab and Summer Camp. Coverage is badly needed. Why is it needed? People talk on their phones, people using broadband, But particularly with the earlier presentation I saw, we cannot neglect the health and safety aspect. And by that, I'm talking access to 911 to first responders, fire, police, EMS if someone's having a situation, and also so alerts can go out on the Franklin County Code Red emergency notification system. This is essential. I apologize it's taken so long, but we're ready to go.
Mr. Yates, this is Commissioner Ward. I appreciate you speaking today. Do you know of anybody that can help us get a tower up 65 such as this?
This was brought up last week by Mr. Michael, and I'm having folks look hard on it. I will follow up with Michael after the meeting and see if we can pinpoint exactly where we need to be on 65, and I'll do some begging. I'm just a beggar, but I can do begging.
All right, well, feel free to get my phone number from Mr. Marone and give me a call anytime, and we can talk about it further if you need to. I'll help
Thank
out
you
any
so
which way I
much,
can,
Richard.
obviously.
Thank you, Commissioner. Thank you.
Thank you.
Any more discussion before we vote? Seeing none, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? That's a 5-0 vote. Mr. Yates, thank you for your time. All right, go ahead, Mr. Patterson.
Site plan applications. One of them is for 75 Highway 65. That has been moved to another
yes.
meeting.
Mhm.
And the other one is 2118 Highway 98. It was tabled on the August 20th meeting. This consideration of a request to construct an 850 square foot beach cottage and open pavilion in Lanark Village, Franklin County, Florida. Request submitted by Eddie Golson.
You must be Mr. Golson.
Yes, sir, Chairman.
Okay. How you doing today?
I'm good, sir.
Does anyone have any questions for Mr. Golson? Commissioners? All right, what's the pleasure of the board?
Motion to approve.
Okay, we have a motion to approve by Commissioner Sanders,
I'll second.
second by Commissioner Ward. Any discussion before we vote?
Just one thing, we had some questions.
Mhm.
I felt like the RV spots and the boat stuff was too much.
Yes, ma'am.
So thank you for scaling it down,
That was my olive branch.
because you liked to saw what I was talking about, because Helene, had she come,
Yes,
you
ma'am.
would have seen what I was talking about.
Yes,
You would have
ma'am.
saw. But anyway, thank you so much for scaling it down.
Thank you.
Commissioner Ward, did you have something you wanted to say?
I was just gonna say the same thing. I heard that you worked really well with our staff to try to come to a conclusion on
Yes,
this. So
ma'am.
thank you for doing that.
Planning and zoning, the permitting office, those people are great. They work so hard with us, so we appreciate everything.
Thank you.
Any additional discussion before we vote? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? That's unanimous.
Thank you
Mr.
very
Golson.
much.
Mr. Chairman, if we could,
Yes.
I'd like to make a comment on the 75 Highway 65 that we've tabled,
Okay,
and I'll try to be brief. My frustration with this particular item is this applicant was under the impression that the property was zoned commercial. He went through and paid, I'm sure, a bulk amount of money for the property, for the survey, for the sketch plat plan, the process, and now he gets to this point, and now we say, well, back up, hold up, we might have some issues with the way the property's zoned. So I will say this, I know that on our resources map, because that's where I go sometimes, the GIS maps on the website to look at a lot of things. And there are several properties that are on that map as residential that I know are not residential. I know they're not. And I spoke with Justin yesterday, and we need to improve upon that, because that's what our staff uses, that's what people in the community uses. I don't know how it works with the property appraiser's website in terms of when they go to their property appraiser's website to see what property's own, but, and getting back to this particular area, there's all this research that we've done, that I've done, from paperwork and going on and looking at previous meetings about this whole plat of land that people are talking about, and nobody knows what's what. Is it preservation? Is it commercial? Is it residential? We need to get that nailed down too, because I know that, and I spoke to somebody with Gramercy yesterday, and, you know, they're under, the developer sold land. Well, I don't feel like that's the board's fault. That's the developer's fault for selling that land. So they need to figure out, and somebody needs to figure out what's left in that plat of land that's what, because I don't even think they know. Because I looked at several, I could show you right now, I pulled up maps, and I talked to Mr. Currington about this years ago, because I remember there was something else coming up about this particular plat of land. And it's contradictory, because one map I have says a particular lot's commercial, but then another map I have says it's preservation. So we need to get that nailed down. I don't know how we can do it. I'm sure that's something, but as far as the county's perspective, we need to get our own maps figured out and reflective of the appropriate zoning. And I know that we're delaying this, and I hate it for the applicant because I feel bad, but in essence, I feel like we're kind of protecting him too, because I don't want anything to come back later on where they do realize it's preservation, and he's went ahead and built this building. And so I see both sides, but I just want to make a note for that for the record.
That's exactly one of the things we're doing. So we have a meeting set up with the applicant, Justin, myself, I believe Attorney Schuler come Friday. And then from there, Justin is basically going to apparently there was some action taken years ago that it was not reflective on the map. So we have to get everything to reconcile and then move forward from there. And then we will get this done, because you're right, we want to protect, yes, we want to protect the county, we also want to protect this property owner,
Right.
that we issued a letter saying that it was zoned in a certain way, and he took action based on that. So yes, we're going to get this all reconciled.
Commissioner.
Just for the record, Mr. Chairman, I want to say too, that I don't want to, if it comes to the point where we realize and can answer these questions, I don't want it delayed. If we have to put it on the agenda for a special meeting without all the other zoning stuff, I'm not speaking on behalf of the other board, but if it's something that we need to just add to the agenda to get it approved, because I know we're going into the holiday season, I want to be able to do that. If we can figure out get the answers that we need.
Yeah.
So we're not delaying the applicant till the first of the year.
No, my intentions, I'm hoping that we can get it all worked out with what direction we need to take here by the next meeting.
Commissioner, I was just, as far as the maps go, the GIS maps, we have had discrepancies between the GIS maps and the paper maps, which I tell my staff to always, Mr. Currington is the one that told me this quite a while ago, that the GIS maps don't always line up with the paper maps, so always defer to the paper maps, because they are the,
Right.
because there's sections that will show, you know, it's just, there might be a small 3 acres of R3 in the middle of R1, and we have that, but when they did the GIS maps, it missed a lot of that stuff, so, you know, there's a lot of those details that were missed, so we, you know, if it's anything that's in any kind of a question, I always tell them to defer to the paper maps and double check.
And that's great, but our community, they're not gonna do that. They're not gonna come to the planning and zoning
Right.
office and say, hey, I wanna see this paper map of Gramercy Plantation or whatever. And I'm just, you know, I know when I'm researching stuff, I know I can go to the P and Z office to look, but I'm not. I wanna do it from the convenience of my home, where I can look at stuff and lay it all out. And of course, I got 5 questions. I know I can always pick up the phone and call. And this isn't anything against our county staff at all. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying we need to make sure moving forward that we don't have any situation like this come up again. And I know, again, there's multiple variables at play here, but we just need to make sure we're on the right page.
The good thing is, Commissioners, Steve, is that once it's figured out by Justin and he determines this is what it needs to be, well, guess what? ARPC manages our GIS map, so he's gonna turn around and get it fixed, and he's right there to get it fixed. That's the benefit of it all.
And that's the discussion he and I had yesterday, so.
So,
Thank you, Chairman.
All right. Ms. Aaron, Michael, y'all ready to open some bids?
kick Steve out, and we can move on, put Aaron in.
Thank you,
Don't
Mr.
get in his
Patterson.
way.
Wait, Steve, no, I'm just
Okay, Commissioners, the first bid that we're going to open today is actually for the Airport Pavement Apron Rehabilitation Phase 2 at the Apalachicola Regional Airport. The project consists of concrete pavement repair, removal, and replacement.
Yeah, we got.
And John hasn't had a meeting to run to, so he's not.
Okay, okay, gotcha. Okay, and what we'll do on these is we will just simply read the base bid amount for you all. Okay, the first one we're opening today is from Pettibone Concrete Construction Incorporated, located in Panama City, Florida. Pettibone Concrete Construction Incorporated.
Should say phase two.
Commissioner, I was listening to Aaron as she was that stuff. John Collins was online all morning, but he had a meeting this afternoon because he wanted to be part of this discussion in case you had questions. But he's not now.
One of my ears don't.
He had a meeting.
Okay. Okay, total base bid amount, $298,400. Again, $298,400. And let's check for their bid bond. Yes, bid bond is attached. Review these as I sit here, if that's okay. Okay, the second one is from Gosalia Concrete Constructors Incorporated. Again, Gosalia Concrete Constructors Incorporated, located in Tampa, Florida. Total base bid amount, $623,610. $623,610. There we go. Yes, bid bond is included. Okay, this next one is from ECSC LLC. Again, ECSC LLC, located in Panama City, Florida. Total base bid amount, $525,332.74. Again, $525,332.74. And their bid bond is included. This next one is from Superior Construction Company Southeast LLC, located in Jacksonville, Florida. Again, Superior Construction Company Southeast LLC, located in Jacksonville, Florida. Total base bid amount, $1,288,000. Again, $1,288,000. And their bid bond is included.
What review committee is gonna review this, Ms. Aaron?
This will actually be released back to ABCON for their review and recommendation, because they're the engineers for the project.
Okay.
And boy, that's quite a variety in pricing.
How could it be $1 million difference from top to
Yeah.
bottom?
Yep.
Might be missing some addendums on that.
Might be.
I don't know.
Mr.
Yeah,
Chairman,
there's quite a few bid alternates with the project, but that is the base bid values for
For all
everyone.
of them. Go ahead, Ms.
Mr. Chairman, so just so everybody's aware, this is for rehabilitation of a runway where they basically just refill joints that may be cracked or,
Correct, it's
Yeah,
actually
I
gonna
know
be,
John's not on the line,
let's see,
but-
concrete pavement repair, removal, and replacement for the airport pavement aprons.
Mr. Chairman, if y'all noticed out there Saturday, some of those areas that was roped off there by the apron, that's what this is.
I know some stuff around them hooks too, out there, you know, those.
The
old-
tie downs?
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
that had the hooks down, yeah.
All right, so we're gonna return this over to AvCon for review.
Correct.
What's the pleasure of the board?
I'll make a motion to approve, I'll
All right.
leave it on.
So we have a motion to approve by Commissioner Sanders, second by Commissioner Amison. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That's unanimous.
Yes. Okay, the next bids that we're gonna open today are for the, DW Wilson Sports Arena batting cage. And this is actually for the concrete floor and the, pole barn structure, which actually goes over the flooring. Okay, Commissioners, the first bid is from BGN Contractors, and they are located in Panama City, Florida. The bid total for the DW Wilson Sports Arena batting cage is $107,065.85. Again, $107,065.85, and we did not require bid bonds for this project.
Okay.
The next one is from Chief Construction LLC, located in Hosford, Florida. Again, Chief Construction LLC, located in Hosford, Florida. Okay, bid total, $42,025.20. Again, $42,025.20.
Yeah, that's right.
Is this, Mr. Chairman, is this to construct a new, or is there one existing they're
No, it's
refurbishing?
to construct a new one,
It's
isn't
to
it?
construct a new
Okay.
one. Yep, there is an existing batting cage there, but it's pretty dilapidated.
Okay.
Yep, and I don't believe it even has a concrete floor.
It
No.
doesn't even have a roof.
No. It was old looking years ago when my kids were growing up and I was coaching out there, so yeah. Glad to see
Oh.
some new ones.
I'm just
Okay.
trying to, for the pricing, trying to get an idea. 'cause the room that
Okay,
was
I'm
already
thinking they will be
existing,
the
we were
exact
refurbishing.
same.
Yes.
It should be the,
Same?
yeah, okay, okay. Yeah, exact same bid spec, bid specs. Okay, this next one is from MKM Quality Construction of Mexico Beach, Florida. Again, MKM Quality Construction Incorporated from Mexico Beach, Florida. $117,340.69. Again, $117,340.69. And just to kind of give you all the summary, the batting cages are actually going to be 30-foot wide by 86 feet long by approximately 12-foot high, with gables 16 feet from the ground with a concrete slab floor. And the building will be rated to withstand 140 miles per hour wind speeds. And actually, this one was also Will Kendrick.
So what,
But they are exactly the same, so we,
tell me, who have you read so far? So
Lawson and MKM.
this is,
No, so far it's BGN, Chief, and MKM.
Yeah, the two I think that were the
I can open,
the category errors were MKM.
let's do this. I don't think you've opened this one yet for anybody.
Okay, this next one is from Holly Development Corporation in Bonifay, Florida. Again, Holly Development Corporation in Bonifay, Florida. Okay, bid total for the DW Wilson Sports Arena batting cage is $59,000. Again, bid total for DW Wilson Sports Arena batting cage, $59,000. Again, no bid bonds were required.
And you have one more from Chipley, right?
This DW, where are they from?
Yep, this one's from Chipley. And this next one is from Chapel Branch and Lagnapi, located in Shipley, Florida. Again, Chapel Branch in Shipley, Florida.
From Chipley.
Where's your Creole at?
Sure.
Just a little bit of Creole, you get
Oh,
that?
Lagnap, okay.
Lagnac.
Okay, boy, got that one off wrong.
Just skip Mardi Gras.
Yeah. Okay, the bid total for DW Wilson Sports Arena batting cage for them is $50,556.10. $50,556.10.
And who's gonna review these, Ms. Aaron?
These will actually be sent on to Tracy Busby for review.
Okay, one more question. Both this one and the other one, are they gonna be similar in style and look as the one that we redid in East Point?
Actually, no, these are a little bit different. They're a little larger. The one in East Point, we actually had to design to actually fit around the existing cage structure and
Right.
also the existing concrete floor. These are a little larger, and they are just slightly different in design. These will look more similar to the batting cage that's actually located at the Franklin County School.
Okay, that works. All right, pleasure of the board.
So moved.
We have a motion to approve by Commissioner Ward, second by Commissioner Sanders and Commissioner Amison. Any discussion? All in favor? Or any discussion?
No, I was just gonna say.
All in favor? Any opposed? That's unanimous.
Aaron, question for you right quick, that doesn't have to do with, but anything as far as the vote goes, but the company that did do the one out there in East Point, what was their name again?
Keen's Portable Buildings.
They didn't bid.
Actually, I talked to them yesterday and they called frantic and were not able to submit in time. Yeah, the salesman actually had received the bid specification packet, but he couldn't get his office staff to actually pull all of the required disclosures together for him, so he was pretty upset. Yeah,
They did a good job out there at Bremen too.
they really did.
And then, we just added carpet
Yep.
to that one.
You did?
Yeah.
I'll get with you later.
I ain't gonna tell you my secret.
Don't think I ain't shy.
Okay, okay, this next one, since you all are actually writing down the tallies, let's just confirm that these numbers have not changed. This is MKM Quality Construction located out of, Mexico Beach, Florida. And their total base bid for the, this says DW Wilson Sports Arena batting cage, but we opened the Kendrick Park one first. So $117,340.69. Is that?
Exactly the same.
Okay, yep, great. Yep. Okay.
And this is an existing, like you're having to build it, right? It's not even, okay.
Okay, this next one is from Chief Construction LLC, and they are located in Hosford, Florida. Again, Chief Construction LLC. And this one is the same, where this is for, we are opening for Kendrick Park, but it was sorted, it was $42,025.20. Is that also the same? Okay, great. Okay. There we go.
I hope so.
Yes,
Just,
I would
just
hope so.
verify. Make sure they ain't trying to slide.
For real.
Okay, this next one is from BGN Contractors located in Panama City, Florida. Again, BGM Contractors, Panama City. This one is for Kendrick Park Sports Arena batting cage, $107,065.85. $107,065.85.
Yep.
Okay, and this next one is from Holly Development Corporation in Bonifay, Florida. Again, Holly Development Corporation in Bonifay, Florida. Total base bid $59,000 for Will S. Kendrick Sports Arena batting cage. $59,000.
Oh my God.
That's the one you couldn't pronounce it.
Okay. All right, I am gonna let Commissioner Amison pronounce that second part. Chapel Branch and, okay, okay. And they are located in Shipley, Florida. Again, yeah, Chapel Branch. Okay, total base bid, Will Kendrick Sports Arena, $52,556.10.
Say that again?
That's weird.
$52,556.10.
They're
Huh.
2,000 higher than what they quoted.
Yep,
Oh.
sure is.
You gotta go further
Is
down the
that
road.
clerical error?
Oh, okay,
Gotta go further down the
Sorry,
road.
that is Will Kendrick, yep,
Mileage.
yep. Yep, $52,556.10.
Mileage, that's quite a bit of mileage, money per mile.
Okay.
That's also gonna be reviewed by Ms. Busby?
Interesting, yes.
Make a motion to send this over to Ms. Busby for recommendation, send back to the board.
All right,
Kind
so
of
we have a
fill out
motion to approve by Commissioner Sanders, second by Commissioner Amison. Any discussion?
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, I've got a question. Aaron, once if Ms. Busby makes sure that, goes through the review committee, everything's okay, which one's gonna go first? Are they gonna work?
We will actually award both at the same time, so
Okay.
yeah, it'll just kind of be however the company's
Contractor wants
scheduling
to do
work.
it. Gotcha.
Yeah, if they want to get one complete and
Or-
roll on to the next one, or if they want to actually do the concrete at both and then continue going.
See, okay, thank
Yep.
you.
Yep, which we do need to decide, Commissioner Sanders, since now that we've opened these bids, where exactly we're putting Hendrick Parks, so, yeah, so we'll get together on that.
I was
know where you
about where that one you got's at.
I would think so, out toward the
You know where you want
backside.
Commissioner Sanders.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
What, the pickle?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Where-
we don't want to do tennis.
Where you gonna put it?
What, pickle?
No,
No,
the
the
batting cage.
batting cage.
Up there where they want it.
It's the same, about the same spot, is what I'm.
That was the right answer.
You can tell it's afternoon. No, I guess it'll be up there along where that pavilion is out from the concession stand. There's some strips.
Yes, the same, in the same spot that
In
the
the
batting
same
cage
spot.
is now, okay, good.
Okay.
I'm just sitting there wondering how far I gotta drag kids around.
Okay, same location, that makes it easy. Okay,
I'm looking at
okay.
it from a practical
Yeah, I
standpoint.
guess we
Okay.
got in that same
Okay.
area.
Okay. Okay.
I got my
All
mind
right,
on
so any
pickleball.
other discussion before we vote? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? That's unanimous. All right, Ms. Griffith?
All right, Commissioners, at the last meeting.
Before she starts, can I ask
Oh,
you a
yeah.
question?
Yep.
And it's about to do
Okay.
with Kendrick Arena, Kendrick Park. We had the pickleball courts at Kendrick Arena too.
We do, yep, and
Now,
actually
when's
those.
that coming up? Cause this has to do with
Uh,
the bidding.
We actually did a task order for Dewberry where they were actually gonna do the construction specs on that, on
Okay,
actually getting that
okay.
resurfaced and redone,
Okay,
yep.
then we'll discuss.
Yep,
Okay,
yep.
Everybody got to.
that's fine.
Ms.
Thank you,
Aaron,
Mr.
Ms.
Chairman.
Aaron, before you start, you did add some stuff, correct?
I did. I do have a couple of late ad items. Actually, it just completely slipped my mind. And action item number 8, Sylvester Williams Park, lease from the city of Apalachicola. I did actually misstate that at the last meeting where I was like, oh yeah, now we have a fully executed lease agreement. And then when I gave the lease agreement to Jessica, she was unable to find in the minutes where we had formally approved it. So I do actually have that on there for a clarification, so my apologies on that one.
Okay.
And then we also have the DEO grant award agreement for the airport runway extension planning grant.
Okay. So before you start, I'm gonna go ahead and call for public comment on those two.
Oh,
items.
okay, and one other thing too, which was one more update, is the engineers also had fully reviewed all of the bid alternates for the SGI stormwater, so I do have a revised total contract price on that
Okay.
particular item.
Okay. So is anyone in the room that wants to comment on this publicly, since it was not on our published agenda before the meeting started today? I'm now calling for public comment on any of these items. All right, Mr. Morone, could you check it via Zoom, please?
Anyone attending via Zoom would like to comment on the items, the late add items to Mrs. Griffith's report, please do so by raising your hand now. No hands raised. So that you know, Mr. Chairman, I did in fact update online
Okay.
a new report. So if you're online, you look at it, it's also there as
Okay.
their paper copies here in the audience, okay? And Aaron, how is it that you're on Zoom and here?
Oh, I must have left it on my computer.
It's still on, but nobody knows. Go ahead, Ms. Griffin.
She's a Gemini.
That too.
Okay, first action item, Commissioners, at the last meeting, the board opened the construction bids for the Lanark EMS station. Unfortunately, the low bid was deemed to be unresponsive as the bidder did not include all of the required addendums, copies of their license, nor their E-Verify registration. As the bids for this project were already above the grant award and it will not delay the start date of the project due to the upcoming holidays, the recommended course of action is to reject all bids and re-advertise for the project. Action item A, board action to reject all bids opened at your last meeting for the Lanark EMS station. And action item B, board action to re-advertise for construction bids.
They need to be done together is fine or separate?
They could be done together. It's all the same subject matter.
Okay. Pleasure of the board.
So moved.
All right. We have a motion to approve that re-advertisement and rejection of the bids by Commissioner Anderson. We have a second from Commissioner Sanders and Commissioner Crean. Any discussion before we vote?
I've got a question. With
Yes.
us having to do this, and I know the reason why, because you told me everything that needs to be done. What are we looking at a timeline? Because you know, we need to go ahead and spend this money.
We actually don't feel like it'll have a negative impact on the timeline because we'll go ahead and get the advertisements redone. And then most likely a contractor was not going to actually be on site starting until after the holidays anyway. So I feel like we won't lose any time, just from this hiccup.
So sometime probably around mid-January.
Probably
February.
mid-January, we'll be able to get somebody on
Okay.
site there.
I just wanna know, because the
Yeah.
people are waiting.
Yeah, very excited about this one.
I know this is a good project.
It is.
out here. I'm so glad.
Any other discussion before we vote? All in favor? Any opposed? That's unanimous.
Okay, Commissioners, next action item. At the last meeting, the board opened bids for the SGI Beach Park Facilities Improvements Project, which will include the replacement of the current combination basketball pickleball court, which is cracked beyond repair, and will add a pickleball-only court to the side of the basketball court. This project will also include the associated fencing, shade structures with seating, a bicycle rack, and drinking fountain. There were 2 bids open from low bidder Premier Surfacing, and the bidder had requested that the earlier bid be withdrawn as it was submitted before the due date was changed and before all of the addendums were issued. The engineers have reviewed and recommend award to Premier Surface Solutions for the valid low bid of $289,650. Again, $289,650. Board action to issue a notice of intent to award and authorize the chairman to sign the contract documents when available to Premier Surface Solutions Incorporated.
So move.
We have a motion to approve by Commissioner Ward,
Second.
second by Commissioner Crew. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? That's unanimous.
All right, Commissioners, next action item number 3. At the last meeting, the board opened responses to the construction bid solicitation for the Restore SGI Stormwater Improvement Project and released the bids to the engineer for their full review and recommendation. There were 2 bids received, and Dewberry recommends award to the low bidder, North Florida Construction, with a base bid of $3,059,718.98, as all of their supporting documentation is in order and their bid has been deemed responsive. A full contract price will be determined after a thorough review and approval of bid alternates. My late add update to that was engineers have completed their review of the bid alternates and now recommend award of the base bid and all of the bid alternates. The full contract price will now be $3,990,493.53. Board action to issue the notice of intent to award to North Florida Construction and authorize the chairman to sign the construction contract once available.
Second.
We have a motion to approve by Commissioner Sanders with a second from Commissioner Ward. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? That's unanimous.
Okay, Commissioners, action item number 4. Attached are resolutions for the adoption of unanticipated revenues as part of the end of the year fiscal year bookkeeping. These funds were not included in your original adopted 23-24 budget because at the time of budget adoption, they were unanticipated. Florida Statute 129 allows a county 60 days after the end of a fiscal year to incorporate unanticipated revenues into the prior year's budget. This is the final board meeting in which amendments and resolutions can be approved. Resolution number 7 is for $50,000 in state grant revenues received for ARPC to complete the updates to the comprehensive plan. Resolution number 8 is for $57,767 in state grant funds received for the TDC's Maritime Museum Grant Project. Resolution number 9 is for $44,097 in state grant funds for the LAP Alligator Drive Multi-Use Path Project. Resolution 10 is for $46,461 in state grant funds for the East Point Landscaping Project. Resolution number 11 is for $76,533 in state and federal FEMA funds for disaster response efforts in the aftermath of Hurricanes Idalia, Helene, and Debbie. Resolution number 12 is for $30,086 in state grant revenues for the Alligator Point Beach Renourishment Plan and Permitting Project. Resolution number 13 is for $29,778 in state and federal FEMA funds and federal forestry funds for the road department's operational expenses. Resolution number 14 is for $350,695 in state grant funds received for the SCRAP CR67 Phases 2 through 3 projects. Resolution number 15 is for $421,634 in state and federal grant funds for the Airport Obstruction Removal Phase 2 project. Resolution number 16 is for $60,140 in tipping fee revenues used to fund the purchase of 3 new transfer station boxes. Resolution number 17 is for $227,258 in state shared revenues through the Amendment 1 offset funding for various operational expenses. Resolution number 18 is for $1,738,676 in state, federal, and other forms of grant funding for the payment of grant-related expenditures at the Sheriff's Department. Board action to adopt the attached budget resolutions mentioned above.
So move.
Have a motion to approve from Commissioner Ward, second from Commissioner Amison. Discussion? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? That's unanimous.
Okay, Commissioners, the next action item, there are 7 line item budget amendments below for approval by the board. Budget amendments simply move budgeted amounts between line items during the fiscal year. Impacted departmental budgets and programs include the Building Department, Planning and Zoning, Administrative Services, Emergency Management, the Healthcare Trust Fund, the American Rescue Plan, Tipping Fee Fund, and the TDC Fund.
Ms. Aaron, do you have to read all this word for word?
I don't. I was going to just say board action to approve the line item budget amendments above for fiscal year 23-24.
Okay. I'm just throwing a rescue line out there.
I don't want to torture you all too much.
Pleasure of the board.
So move.
Motion to approve by Commissioner Ward, second by Commissioner Sanders. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? That's unanimous.
And, Mr. Chairman, just so the public's aware, this is online, so if you're wondering what we're approving, it's all right here on our in our packet, so keep Aaron from having to read that all.
Okay.
Go ahead, Ms. Aaron.
Okay, next action item number 5, at 9:00 a.m. on November 16th, the morning of the Forgotten Coast Freedom Fest at the county airport in Apalachicola, the county held a surplus equipment auction. The auction also featured items from Northwest Florida Water Management District and the city of Apalachicola. The county received a check in the amount of $140,908.75 upon conclusion of the sale, and the sales proceeds will be made available to the departments below to be able to replace equipment. The Solid Waste Department received $38,285. Parks and Recreation, $4,037.50. Courthouse Maintenance, $380. The Ambulance EMS Service, $2,375. The Road Department, $17,575. And the County Airport, $78,256.25. There were only a few tractor tires, rims, a culvert, and a scrap pile, which had been approved previously to go to the auction that were unable to be sold. Board action to approve the final auction list of surplus and obsolete items below and authorize removal from county inventory effective the date of the sale.
Have a motion to approve by Commissioner Amison,
Second.
second by Commissioner Ward. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? That's unanimous.
Mr. Chairman, I got a quick question.
Yes.
When we take these off of the county inventory, what does all this equipment go? Does it go to another auction, or how does that, does it get scrapped, or?
This is what was auctioned.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, this is what
Yep,
was
yep,
auctioned.
this one,
Okay.
yep.
Okay,
Yep.
but what about the stuff that didn't get sold or auctioned off? I guess everything went, huh?
Everything went except for the
Tires and cold.
couple of
So
junk.
they just throw that away, essentially?
Knowing the airport, it might,
Still be there?
we might try again.
Okay, I was just asking, because I was always curious as to what, if we when something wasn't purchased, where it goes, that's all, that's all.
You may see
Back
those
to the
same
road
rims at the
department,
next
back-
auction.
back
Back to
there.
the departments,
Yeah.
okay.
And they put them back there in the back of the
Just collect dust. and rust.
staging area there.
That's what the back 40's for. Go ahead, Ms. Aaron.
Okay, next action item number 6, at the last meeting, the board approved the purchase of a $121,438 tractor with cage and additional attachment for the airport based on Sourcewell contract pricing, less a $20,000 trade-in credit for the old John Deere 5625 tractor, property tag number A004786. At that time, the method of financing was left unsettled as all financing proposals had not yet been received. There were some maintenance warranty questions, and the county equipment auction had not yet occurred. The airport's share of the auction proceeds was $78,256.25, and as there is no incentive for service and maintenance included by financing direct through the dealer, staff recommend proceeding with the purchase and paying for the equipment outright. Board action to approve purchasing the airport tractor outright and utilizing the airport's auction proceeds as an offset for the cost of the purchase, with airport operating revenues funding $23,181.78.
Mr. Chairman, I have a question.
All right.
So this tractor's gonna be paid in full, we don't have to finance it or anything like
Correct.
that. But I know we're gonna have a warranty, I know we talked about warranty and maintenance contracts before, is this gonna include maintenance where they come on site to repair the tractor if needed?
It does not include any sort of on-site, lingering cost of maintenance. Now, this tractor does come with a 24-month or 2,000-hour warranty. Now, there is a maintenance plan that the county could purchase, but maintenance plans are roughly, assuming biannual services would be performed on-site, roughly 84 miles from AgPro at the airport location. They've actually quoted the service department cost and the parts cost for each of the services, and I can actually share that with you all. But that's actually a break-in service after 100 hours and then a full engine service every 500 hours. So we do have a couple of costs, associated for that, so.
And that'll come out of the airport budget whenever that warranty and all that's.
It will.
Okay, all right.
Mr. Chairman?
Yep.
That's the reason why we got, I'm telling y'all, that's the reason why we got such a good deal on all them tractors that we done that. Because the hours were low on those tractors, and they didn't have the hours on there. So you got a very good price from them. That's why I question it every time. Cause you can get, even though it might be ragged as the devil, the hours on the engine is what counts,
Yeah.
you know?
Motion to approve, Mr. Chairman.
Second.
We have a motion to approve by Commissioner Ward, second by Commissioner Amison and Commissioner Sanders. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? That's unanimous.
Okay, Commissioners, next action item number 7. While compiling the list of updates and revisions needed to the 2012 edition of the county personnel rules to be presented as one comprehensive policy by the end of the year, there is a policy change that may be helpful to put in place now for some of the county's short-staffed departments in the impending holiday season. The proposed policy change below would allow employees to request pay in lieu of using 1 week of vacation leave per fiscal year. The proposed policy addition would be effective immediately and would read, no more than once per fiscal year, any employee who has at least 2 weeks of vacation leave time accrued at the time of the request can opt to be paid for 1 week of vacation leave in lieu of using the vacation time, subject to approval by the department head and subject to available budget funds. Board action to approve the policy change noted above.
Have a motion to approve from Commissioner Amison,
Second.
second by Commissioner Ward. Any discussion?
Okay, now, what is different there?
Basically, you're allowing your employees to actually get paid out for 1 week of leave time in lieu of using the time, basically at any time that they request, based upon
They're
payroll
not taking the
periods.
time off, they're just
So
getting
they
paid.
won't
They're just
work.
getting paid.
They're not losing it also.
And
Correct.
so it's kind of a benefit to them, a benefit to your department heads when they need more bodies to work. So if they can work out a deal, okay, you buy out this week and you work, they're good with that.
Okay, I just wanna make sure that we're not taking anything away from them.
Oh, no, we
They're
help you.
actually giving it,
Yeah.
giving it some to them.
It's a
Yeah,
gift,
yeah.
yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
Commissioner Sanders, basically, like, when we get close to holidays, remember a couple years ago, the way they fell on them odd days and we didn't have anybody wanting to go over? Because everybody was either use my leave time or lose my leave time.
Yeah.
If I'm not mistaken, this right here gives them the
At least
option to
here,
say,
we
hey,
can-
look, I'd
Yeah.
rather work than
Yeah.
go on vacation, and then they can get paid for the
Yeah,
week's vacation.
Yeah.
it's a benefit to them.
Yeah, I understand that.
And, Mr. Chair,
Yes,
I guess the payout of the leave when we come through that department's
Yes.
Correct.
budget, okay?
Yep.
Yes.
Gotcha.
yeah, just like it would have any other time, yeah. So we do have a motion and a second, don't we, on this?
Yes.
Okay. Any more discussion before we vote? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That's unanimous.
Okay, next action item number 8. This is a late ad item. At the last meeting, I mentioned we finally had the fully executed lease agreement for Sylvester Williams Park. Again, unfortunately, when I sent it to Jess, she actually caught it that it had not been formally approved by the board. Let's see, in the attached lease, the park shall be managed and maintained by Franklin County through December 31st, 2075. Franklin County will now be able to apply for upcoming grant funding opportunities for the park location. Board action to approve the attached lease agreement and grant retroactive authorization for the chairman to sign the attached agreement effective October 31st, 2024.
So moved.
We have a motion to
Second
approve.
with comment or question.
All right.
Didn't we approve this tentative on, the city of Apalachicola?
I don't think we
That's
did.
what we can't remember.
That's a problem. No, we thought we did, but we really
Yeah.
did.
We talked about it several
Just to answer
times.
the question, that's all.
Yeah.
And
Okay,
then
we're
Commissioner, we
good.
kind of tasked Attorney Schuler, he had to tweak it a few times, so yeah, that's where the confusion came up.
Yeah, we have talked about it a lot, and we've even gone to a few city meetings, and then, you know, of course, when we finally got it, I raced around and got everybody's signature, and then after the fact, I was like, oh
In other
no.
words, we put that cart about
Did you
10
say
miles ahead of that
27?
horse.
Yes,
I
we
got
did.
you.
Yeah,
I-
actually, it was
That's part of
longer
that
than what they had
vote.
originally discussed with us.
Because I drafted it that way, because I thought it was a 50-year lease, and then they called me before the meeting, because they
Oh.
wanted it reduced, so they actually approved it.
They did,
longer.
they signed,
lied to us.
okay. Okay. Yeah, I noticed that change as well. I was like, oh, they gave us more years, okay.
Okay, cool, that's great.
They love it.
So all that's accurate?
That's
Okay,
correct.
because we do have a motion to approve by Commissioner Green and a second from Commissioner Amison.
So you don't want us coming back again next?
No, I just want to make sure, I want to clarify, now's the time to ask.
I'll just tease you.
Janice, make sure you highlight this in the minutes.
There you go. Any other discussion before we vote?
Guys are too funny.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That's unanimous.
All right, Commissioners, next action item is number 9. As reported at the August 20th meeting, Franklin County received a funding notification letter from the Florida Department of Commerce for the planning grant for the 1,100-foot runway extension, which could allow for commercial regional commuter flights and/or allow the airport to serve as the base of operations for an aircraft recycling operation. The $75,000 grant will develop a comprehensive planning report which will identify wetland areas and the potential impacts to wildlife, estimate the cost for land acquisition and construction, and provide a preliminary extension design concept. Board action to approve and authorize the chairman to sign the attached grant award agreement with the Florida Department of Commerce.
So moved.
Have a motion to approve by Commissioner Warren.
Second.
Second from Commissioner Sanders. Any discussion?
Mr. Chairman, for clarification, DEO is Florida Commerce, right? Didn't they change their name?
He did,
Okay.
yeah.
Department of
right.
Economic Opportunities now in Florida.
No, Florida
Yeah.
Department of Concert. Okay,
Yeah.
Commerce.
Yeah, I think they changed mid-year last year.
Yeah,
I just want to avoid confusion for the public.
it's all good. Any other discussion before we vote? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That is a 5-0 vote.
All right, Commissioners, and the next item is just a couple of miscellaneous project updates. The Airport FBO hangar roofing project, I did speak with John Collins of Avcon Engineers, and the bid specifications and plans are underway for the new roof at the Airport FBO. Avcon hopes to have the bid documents ready for advertisement in December. The county is also working to make temporary repairs to the Fishing Pier access road to get the area back open for public access. And as FEMA has declined assistance with the repair to the seawall, which collapsed during Hurricane Idalia, the county is currently looking into other funding options for making the permanent repairs to the roadway section. Hurricanes Idalia and Helene also had damaged the dock at the Oclotney Bay boat ramp, and repairs are now complete and the dock is back ready for public use. And that's
Hold
it.
on. Question. So why did FEMA decline? Do we know? Is that a loaded question? Should I not have asked that question? But that's, I mean, it was damaged by these storms. Well, I probably shouldn't ask that question, but that's frustrating because now we're having to use our county money to pay for something that they should be helping us, at least helping us out with.
It is, unfortunately, they are actually declining, repairing the section of seawall because basically they say that that seawall is end of life, where most likely the seawall section should have already been replaced, which is frustrating because not too many hurricanes ago, we did have a section of the seawall that did get replaced, and I do have before and after photos, like, you know, here's the section of seawall that's, you know, erect and working as it should, and then after the storm, here it is collapsed, and basically it was just end of useful life, and that's actually why FDOT gave that that area to the county, you know, because
Exactly.
it was no longer viable for use as a causeway section. So.
Mr. Chairman, I got a question. Can we appeal this, say, after January 20th?
Yeah, I'm good with that.
We
because,
should.
well, I will say this, though.
We need to send a
We've
letter to
had,
President Trump.
we've had conversations, though, with senators in the state and their staff, trying to help us make headway on this. And the end result was, that's the best we can do, but sorry, it's not gonna work.
Well, it's my understanding, though, that,
And right now, we have Republican senators, so
yeah,
I'm
but
just,
what I'm getting at is, and correct me if I'm wrong, but every level's checked off of this all the way up through the state and everything,
Till the final.
except for the federal level.
that's right.
That's
So
correct.
It's
can
the
we
federal.
appeal this possibly?
Yes,
And-
we can definitely file another appeal. One thing that I would suggest, just because it's taken so long now to get any traction, is I may come back to you all with actually the design task order, where then we could actually have a viable design in place, and then perhaps when we, you know, if we are successful with the appeal, that would actually not further slow things. So that may be one. Now, they
More
did approve.
shovel-ready, right?
Yeah, they did approve $80,000, of course, for the pavement that was damaged. However, that's completely backwards because, you know, why would we put the road back without repairing the seawall?
seawall,
So that's,
exactly.
It's just, well, the design's just tearing down, so if you go and look at it, it worked for the time. Where the road's at, there's a ribbon curve, but the ribbon curve is only about 18 inches deep. And then there was rocks put on the side, you know, going toward the water. But over time, those rocks have been moved around and some of them washed away. And it's washing under the ribbon curve, therefore there's no road. It's just taking whatever it wants to take. And, I thought it was just a little bit damaged, so I went and
Yeah.
personally looked at it.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's not
pretty
just a
bad.
little bit damaged, it's pretty significantly
Yeah.
damaged. And it's on the other side as well, not just the
Yeah.
ingress, but the egress as well.
yes, and the other side is actually going to be an extremely complicated repair because when that section goes, it's actually in the shadow of the new bridge. So
Yes.
that's going to be an extremely difficult repair to proceed with. But as it is right now, we're just kind of working on temporarily patching things, and the road department should be out there this week, kind of working on a temporary solution where we're going to try to actually fill in some of the worst eroded areas with some large rocks to prevent any further damage, and then also try to shift, basically construct a temporary road, actually farther landward.
Well, and
So it
this,
still can be used.
yeah, and this
Correct.
week, we've got some onshore winds coming on, it's gonna be offshore too. Bad wind,
Yeah.
so it may not be the most conducive time to do that.
Yeah, and you also have an issue as well where, you know, basically with that collapsed seawall section, you then have, you know, the oyster bars, and you also have, basically roadway sediments and asphalt actually washing into the bay right there, which is also
Well,
you
you
know,
know,
an erosion control issue.
With
so.
this FEMA stuff though, I mean, we're looking at Gulf Avenue or
Yes.
C-30 over there in
Yeah.
Carabel. We're looking at this and it's rocking on a long time.
It is.
Since Hurricane Michael, and it's still no headway. So I agree with
Me?
Honest when you said January 20th.
Maybe
You
the
know?
21st, but yeah, I know what
Maybe,
you mean.
I don't know, I look at it be 359 on January 20th.
Look, it's no secret that the president and our governor have not gotten along for 4 years. And I feel the same way. They've been, I think that's retaliation on the federal level with the hospitals, with the, what's the money that they're going back now from COVID trying to
Oh,
get
lip
rid
and
of.
dish fund.
The lip
Yeah.
money.
Trying to train
You know,
it
why
right.
is it just Florida mainly that's getting hammered with that? Same thing with FEMA. I feel like that's something that's out of our control, but
Yeah.
maybe we should, you know, go for another grab whenever the scenery changes up there.
I agree.
and see what happens. It don't ever hurt to ask.
Never hurts to ask, that's
You don't know,
for sure.
you don't know the makeup of the government no more,
Yeah.
because we're fixing to get a change out there.
Mr. Commissioner, I have something for the mayor before we let her go, though. And this also would go with Commissioner Sanders. Netting for those batting cages. Now, I've been sent from president of the Booster Club to one of the mamas that's with the Booster Club, and I'm getting lost. With Mr. Davis being a school board member, maybe you and him can kind of figure out where they ordered that from, because we're
Oh,
gonna
yes.
need netting.
Okay, definitely. Yeah.
I'm just getting lost, getting handed off, so maybe, you know,
Yeah, and you do
maybe,
hear.
maybe you'll find a better path to get some
Okay,
answers on it.
okay. Yeah, and you do hear, opposing reviews as well. Some people like the chain link, some people like soft
Well,
netting. That's
I will
kind
tell
of
you
an up
this,
and
from
down.
a coach's
Yeah.
standpoint, give me the net.
Okay.
Because that ball comes off that chain link fence like a rocket.
Okay.
Yeah, it does.
And I'm too old to dodge
Okay,
them.
okay.
I'm just gonna be honest
Okay.
with you.
You agree,
Okay.
you think we
The
need the
net's
netting
better.
then?
The net's better.
If you're gonna sit there and feed balls to those little boys, you might wanna, or little
Or
girls.
girls.
Oh, girl.
Yeah, cause I've seen some of the girls hit harder than my boys. But,
Yeah.
I'm just saying, they come off, that ball comes off that chain link. It's better on the equipment too. Think about the chain link, what it does to the balls and stuff. I mean, you can save money all the way around and possibly save an injury from the old guys, so. But if you don't mind, could you?
Definitely.
Yeah, okay, thanks.
Anyone else have anything for Ms. Griffith? All right, thank you, Ms. Aaron. Mr. Morone?
All right, sir. Back to the original agenda packet, page 40, item 1. Ordinance 2024-04 was adopted by the board on May 21st, 2024. I'm not going to read the heading. Everybody familiar with the business license ordinance. It is set to be effective on January 1, 2025. Commissioners, unfortunately, the cloud software will not be ready for your approval until late December, early January of 2025. And we haven't started properly advertising and promoting this ordinance as the board requested. And I say that because the board wanted it to be, you guys want to be the software where someone could never come into the county office. They go online, they fill out the information, they pay for it, they get an email with their actual license in it. So I think it's very important that we probably hold a few workshops, some online, some in person, to allow the public a chance to come in, work on it, and ask some questions. I'm recommending that Attorney Schuler is authorized to schedule a public hearing to delay implementing this ordinance until the board and staff are satisfied with the software and agree to a promotional advertising campaign to educate the public on the requirements and the use of the software.
All right. There's also, Mr. Morone, an issue that Ms. Courtney brought up to me the other day. As it currently stands, it's called a business license.
Oh, I'm sorry, yeah.
I think it actually needs to be considered a
Yeah.
tax receipt or something.
Yes,
What's
Florida
the phrase?
reports to it as a business tax receipt.
Yes.
Because the software, the people were using, is a Florida-based, Orlando, Tampa, and that's what they call it. That's what it's called in the software. Yes, sir, you're
Yes.
correct.
So I think that language needs to be changed too,
Okay.
is what she was saying.
Yes.
I defer to, between her and Attorney Schuler, her staff and her. The other thing is we have already passed it as $25 per business, $100 per vacation rental. That was under the understanding that we were gonna have something in place and ready to, do a, inspection of every vacation rental business. I don't know that we're gonna have that fully loaded coming out the gate. So as something to discuss when we schedule this public hearing, Attorney Schuler, we might want to, until we get all that in place, we might want it to just be $25 across the board. Because the bigger thing is we need to know who's operating business in the county originally. But now if we get to the place where we have someone on staff, because we've been trying to hire somebody for Mr. Steve now as a second for him for quite a while. And we still don't have that person. So we might want to consider that as well when we're doing this public hearing. But it is a pleasure of the board about scheduling the public hearing to do this.
Second.
Motion to approve.
Did you-
All right, so we have a motion to approve from Commissioner Amison, second from Commissioner Ward. Any additional discussion? Do we have to decide today when that's going to be, sir?
It will be no later than the second meeting in December because the effective date is January.
Okay, I just was asking.
Yes, sir.
All right. Any more discussion before we vote? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That's unanimous.
All right, Commissioner, moving on to item 2, the election is over. The county is ready to proceed with the opening of the Garden Club building as your senior activity center. That's the one in Carabel. Mrs. Erin Griffin and I discussed this program and recommend hiring a permanent part-time county employee that will fill the role of an activity coordinator. The center will be open Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. That schedule may change based on holidays from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. The coordinator will be responsible for daily activities, lunch, the upkeep of the center, etc. And when I say lunch, what we'd like to do is coordinate with somebody like maybe the IGA's Deli, some of the other restaurants where it would be, they'll have a county account and they could charge, you know, she'll have a roster of how many people are there, she can order some meals, go and pick them up, that type of deal. Yes, and what it does, it keeps the cost down, because remember the last time we did that, the lowest bid we had was like $50,000 or $60,000, and that was for 1 or 2 days a week. So I think we could do it for a lot less with 3 days a week, with going this route. So as it's a new county position, that will be advertised and be paid from funds that were set aside from, in the NGO budget line item for this purpose. So we knew this was coming, so we had money set aside all year long to do this. So I just need board action to authorize advertising for a permanent part-time activity coordinator for that senior center, activity center in the Garden Club building over in Carabel.
So moved.
We have a motion to approve from Commissioner Ward, second from Commissioner Sanders. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? That's unanimous.
Commissioner Courtney is back. She has laryngitis, but she's back from the attending the Florida Housing Ship Administrators Conference last week. She's ready to start applications. That process to accept applications for assistance. There's a 30-day requirement before the county can accept applications. Therefore, she is working on that process right now, preparing the ad to notify the public that is January 2nd, 2025. The county SHIP program will accept applications for assistance. She'll be at your next meeting to give you a more comprehensive report. I just need board action to authorize that ad.
So moved.
All right, we have a motion to approve from Commissioner Ward, second by Commissioner Croom. Any additional discussion? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? That's unanimous.
Can't believe they're talking about prom already. My goodness.
Yep.
The school district, their junior senior prom is scheduled for Saturday, March 29th. They're asking the county to waive the rental fee for the prom. You guys have done this before. I wasn't sure if you guys had given staff authority to do that. I couldn't remember, so I'm like, I'm just put it on, and then you guys could tell me.
Mr. Chairman, I was gonna say, I think we mainly did like the parades and stuff, but I think this needs to be added the same way, like
Okay.
if, now I know the Armory's gonna be closed coming up soon, isn't
May.
it? May?
May, I believe it's May.
Okay.
For construction,
So, but-
replacement of the windows, what else, floors?
Electrical outlets, lots of
Electrical-
stuff, yes.
In the main
yes.
room, yes, ma'am. Yes.
But, I'm okay if, as long as the other commissioners are to make that a part, this kind of thing, a part of the same thing with the parades, having to come before the board to get permission. I mean, I don't have a problem with that. I think it could be, the staff can decide yes or
Okay.
no.
Works
I don't
for
know
me.
how the other board members feel about it.
Yeah, no, I'm fine with it. They shouldn't have to ask every year for the school. You know what I mean? That's,
Yeah, it's a school.
Yeah.
you know, in addition to that, even if it's a nonprofit, as long as they're doing something where they're not charging, I'm fine with them
Okay.
being able to do the same thing. I don't know how the rest of the board feels about that, but,
I'm
you know.
okay with that, as long as they're not charging or
Yeah.
making money
yeah,
off
if
of
they're
it.
making money, we need to make money, but if they're
Right,
not,
right.
if they're making money, then, you know,
Yes, sir.
I just make
Uh,
it something that staff can approve.
For this purpose, though, I'll go ahead and make a motion to approve waiving the
Second.
rental fee.
All right, so we have a motion to approve by Commissioner Ward, second by Commissioner Croom. Any additional discussion? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? That's unanimous.
Commissioner, speaking of staff approval, we had discussed staff approval of streetlights at a previous meeting. I recommend approval of the following policy for streetlights. Myself, Mrs. Griffith can approve any streetlight request from a commissioner, providing the construction cost is less than $1,000 and the recurring monthly fees are less than $100. Any requests above these amounts will be an action item on my report. Anything below those amounts will be just an informational item. I just need a board to approve that policy. I think that's a fair policy. It'll make it flow quicker.
Okay,
So moved.
we have a motion to approve by Commissioner Amison,
I missed that when I was doing the canvassing board, but I think that's an excellent idea.
Yeah, yeah.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Croom. Any additional discussion, commissioners? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? That's unanimous.
Commissioner Sanders has brought this up this morning when we were having that discussion. So I did talk to James from Baker Tilly. They've passed that, they're at the end of the phase of gathering. They said, Weems staff, was very helpful. They had no problems getting information. They just started, analyzing that information. He will be on your January 7th meeting to provide a preliminary update, and he'll let us know how much past that before we can get the final update. But I'm gonna call him and tell him about that change, the scope we made this morning, and see how him and Attorney Schuler could work out any language change in the agreement. Right-of-way maintenance update, Commissioner Ward and I have talked to Mr. Benny Jacobs about the issues we were having. The board had asked for this. Mr. Jacobs is working on an updated maintenance plan for the right-of-ways. That will be sent to Commissioner Ward and myself. Once I receive it, I will forward it to the rest of the commissioners. 8, firing range update. And Aaron, I'm gonna ask you a question here in a second. Commissioner Ward, Howard, myself, we met at the county's, I should have said the county's property just south of the road department to discuss the relocation of the firing range at that location. After our discussion, I forwarded a proposed new location to Caleb Brown for a task order that will prepare a preliminary site plan and look at the possibilities of any required permits because of property's proximity to wetlands. He says, Northwest Florida management, they can be a little difficult sometimes if you're within 25 feet, is what he said, but he's gonna look at it and work on it. Once received, that information will be presented to the board. Commissioner Ward may have some additional comments.
I mean, the only comment I have is, since I've been on the board, and I think even before that, this goes back to years ago, the Humane Society does not want the firing range behind there. Yes, I understand that the firing range was there before the Humane Society, but what I'm trying to do is just get it relocated. Now, that is on 55 acres of our county-owned property that is potentially gonna become, hopefully, workforce housing that I'm working with Team Franklin, which is the multiple municipality and big group effort, but that's probably not gonna happen till years down the road. So this is not anything that's gonna be permanent. It's just a way to move them to this area to get them away from the Humane Society, to prevent any safety issue from occurring with that. And if we get this, which honestly, we got the wetlands delineation study, and that 55 acres, most of it is wetlands, so we're really working with about 20 acres, regardless. So if we get this preliminary site plan and it doesn't look right, then we may have to figure something else out. But I just figured at least we could look at it, take a look at it, exhaust our resources and say, look, we looked at it, we can't do it, or we looked at it and we can do it, and this is how we have to do it. Because all the people want really is just a place to go sight the rifles in for hunt season, or practice with their pistols. And I want to thank Mr. Fonda Davis and Seagree. I'm having a Corey. Is it Corey Seagree? Corey. He built new picnic tables for the firing range because they were all dilapidated and rotted. And I got contacted by somebody that was asking for some, and next thing I know, they were out there. So, and I didn't even ask them because I guess they saw that it needed to be done. And so I want to extend an appreciation to them for that. But that's pretty much all I have on that.
Okay. And Howard is good. He made sure he turned the map around, the Commissioner Ward and myself. As long as it's an east or west type of deal, Howard's good with that. So just want to let you know
And
that.
it's a more safer location because you've got a lot of woods, a lot of trees, a lot of, it's much safer, will be much safer in this area versus where it is now.
Just have to find a way to block that back off.
Yeah,
right
the
there.
berm. We're gonna put the
And
berms.
gotta be careful, cause you got Camp Road right there, right by the road camp, because they was there in the forest. So you gotta be careful there.
Everything we're talking about doing is on the east side of Road
Yeah,
Camp Road.
that's what I'm saying.
Mhm.
On the
Yeah, that's the best piece of property actually for it, looking at the wetlands delineation is on the east side anyway. Well, Mr. Roan,
Yes.
if we are able to do that, I think we need to also consider transforming that area that's behind current, Humane Society
Mhm.
and do some kind of dog park.
Oh, okay,
I think that'd be more appropriate for what's there.
okay.
I do, where there's land there, there's no sense in just letting it sit there. We could
Right.
actually
I agree.
make it usable for the Humane Society and the public.
Keep that in mind. Okay, sir, we will. All right, item 9, I'm not gonna read too much about that. It's on the website. There's more information on the website, and actually what you see here, I put a link to the website on it, is the FDOT, 5-year work program. What I will add to the website is more than one commissioner will probably
Well,
may be online.
Keep in mind, Mr. Chairman, that's our conference, so I doubt
Yes.
any of us will be
It's
available
the
for
same
that,
time.
that,
real?
Yep,
time and
the
day.
FACT conference is on the
The
same
legislative
date.
conference.
Yep,
Okay,
we'll be down there.
I have signed up to actually watch it on Zoom, so.
yeah.
Aaron will be our representative.
There you go.
I
Thanks
will
for
do
taking
that.
one for the team.
I'm gonna email them and ask them if they're recording it, because then I could give you
That
guys a
would be
link.
That
to
would
the
be great.
recording. Okay.
Or Aaron can just give us a rundown of what she learned, what she found out.
Yes.
Yeah.
Who all's going to that?
Have,
In
have,
December?
I'm
Does
going.
the courting reach out to
She
everybody?
hadn't talked to me about it.
She talked to me, I told her.
Okay, she did, okay,
I don't recall, but I'm going for sure.
okay.
I'm going.
If she's still, yeah, she's on, so she'll know now to check with you guys.
Already made arrangements.
Maybe so, but I don't.
Yeah, I'll double check with her.
I think, I think.
She did reach out to me, I mean, I'm just curious what commissioners, I'll hold it down for y'all go ahead.
I will say, Mr. Chairman, that, at this conference, for ones, Commissioner Amison, you're not going?
No, I'm not.
Are you going, Commissioner Croom?
Yes.
Okay, because they do have the new commissioner workshop.
Yep.
And I did that, and it was very informative.
Yes.
So, I don't know what day they're having it, but it's great thing to attend. I didn't know if you knew that was on the agenda down there, but
Yeah.
Yeah, I seen it.
That text that you sent me, Commissioner Ward, I think I forwarded it to them. I thought I did.
Is it the same one as online too?
no, this is completely different. It goes into Department of Revenue and how your county gets taxed. It's very informative. I mean, it's very broad. And it does go over the ethics portion, but it also gives you an idea of how to make your county better. It talks about ad valorem and how, I mean, it's very broad, very broad. Very good
I like the
educational
part
program.
where it tells you how to communicate with your constituency. Yeah. On a one-to-one basis. See, we got the luxury of knowing everybody in the county, you know, so that helps us.
Just why I left.
But can you imagine doing it for Orange County or Miami-Dade?
Oh, I know, I
Or
couldn't.
something?
They got secretaries. They
That's
got,
exactly-
they
I
got
was
their
about
own,
to
they
say
got,
they have
They
staff.
got $100,000
yeah,
here
yeah,
too.
yeah, and the vehicles and anyway.
Well, I had a friend of mine that was a commissioner at a bigger county. He's like, "Oh, you need to run for county commissioner. You need to get." I said, "How much do you have staff?" He said, "Yeah, I got 3." I'm like, "In Franklin County, it's me." So, when I say staff, I'm talking about people.
I know.
Under them,
Yeah.
They each get, yeah,
Not
each-
you guys.
Each commissioner have their own staff, yeah,
Yeah.
I get it. Yeah. God, can you imagine like one of you and me for each commissioner? That's like life in London, you know, anyway. Commissioner, item 10, Commissioner Amison attended a meeting recently where the use of AI grant writing software was discussed. Apparently nonprofits and other like agencies are using this software to assist their staff with grant applications. Commissioner Amison would like to know if the board is interested in pursuing the use of this software to assist staff with grant applications. Gonna get Aaron a robot, real life AI Tesla robot.
They might find out AI is not as good as they think.
It's
it
not.
is when they start
Trust me,
looking at
Jim.
Aaron. They might find out AI is taking a back seat.
Just try giving Siri a command. Yes, sir, I've been there.
Well, yeah, she does not understand my southern accent. so.
Mr. Chairman,
But it is
can I
helpful.
jump in there real quick? Actually, this is how some local grants got lost and got outscored by bigger municipalities, because they have already bought the AI software, and they're just outscoring us little areas that hadn't kind of quite caught up to that.
But they weren't our grants, I just want to.
No, well, no, it wasn't ours, but it was one here local, actually, the 21st Century Grant that Apalachicola lost. According to some inside info, that went down to a bigger area down there that, again, you know, they just plug in some numbers,
Yep.
and this thing's spitting it out faster than, you know, That's what I'm saying, we're plugging in some information. And I thought, I got to listening to it, and I got to thinking about, it. At the time, I didn't know if already Aaron or Michael had already thought about that. But this would, I mean, I know Aaron is flooded with stuff, we all know that. This would take a load off of her, it could put us in a better position. I think it would just expedite a lot of things and help things flow, so.
Well,
It'd be worth looking into. So.
It definitely is worth looking into. What it does is it helps them make sure they don't miss any of the
Right.
bullet points is the bigger thing. You know what I mean?
Well,
But as
So
Aaron
they're
likes to
checking
say,
every
the
box.
trigger words.
that's what I was gonna say, Mr. Chairman, it's all about the words.
Yeah.
Now, with that, Mr. Chairman, Aaron, have you looked at this?
I have not looked at anything.
Okay.
Honestly, yeah.
She's too busy.
Yeah,
Well, I would like for Aaron to take a look at it and Kim, cause you two are the ones doing the grants, right? And see what y'all's opinion is on it, cause y'all are the ones that can be doing it, not us. We can tell you what grants we want,
I-
but,
Real quick, I tell you, reach out to Travis Wade,
Okay.
cause he actually did a workshop at the, whatever it is the city goes to, kinda like
League
our
of
FAC.
Cities?
Yeah, League of Cities. He went to a
Okay.
workshop and he said it was incredible.
Okay.
It does press conference, I mean,
Okay.
interviews, anything. But I mean, just reach out to him and ask him.
Okay.
He can probably give you a lead on some information
Okay.
if you want to dive into it.
Okay.
And
If you got time.
Yeah,
That's
yeah, and I
something
may
they
look
need
into
to
the
look
League of
at,
Cities
though,
as
Otis,
well, cause
because
they'll
it
have
may
links.
put us in a better competition, better way of doing competition as far as getting grants. and
That's what we were talking about, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, that's what I'm saying.
bless you.
Excuse me.
Well, Ms. Aaron, it might be something that
Oh, we've been
ClearGov can
fighting the
help you
cold
with
for
too.
weeks at my house.
ClearGov
Okay,
might have something like that
yeah.
with their stuff, the one we've already been talking about.
Yep,
They
I'll
might-
ask them tomorrow.
Yeah, they might have something like that.
I know, yeah, I did something with ClearGov, I guess I forwarded you all their information, so you've been in contact with them?
Yeah, yep, gonna
Okay.
meet with them tomorrow. so-
Good, good,
Yep.
all right.
All right, anyone else have anything for Mr. Morone? Or were you done? I'm sorry, I wasn't trying to cut you off.
Yeah, the other
Everyone's
two,
senior center.
I'll just leave those where they are.
about that?
I apologize.
Just so you guys know, I did speak to, Travis yesterday about Leslie Street. The problem is, the reason there's been no action is that they found some really old pipes there. Terracotta, I think is what he referred, what he said they were. And they basically have, change order into FDOT to totally replace that entire system. And while they're doing that, they're going to increase the size of the pipe that provides water for the courthouse, the Gibson, that whole area. They're gonna get a big enough pipe to put fire hydrant on the corner right there. So that's why we haven't seen any action. It's kinda like, FDOT let me not say taking their time, the process for FDOT to approve the change orders.
And another thing with that, and I have no idea, I hadn't had any conversations about that, but keep in mind, it's like whenever you go and tear out a wall of a home that you bought that was old or something, you don't know what other
Oh, yeah.
monsters are, and I think that's kinda the issue we have there, especially with that old, that old infrastructure.
Yeah.
I think they're kinda finding little spiders as they start getting into it that was kind of unexpected.
He said he found they found a manhole that was covered like with 2 layers. I was like, oh, yeah, God bless him.
I'm just sitting here in the back of mine thinking of Joe Zinger, all the old timers, ain't no telling what's down there. I'm just telling you, really. I mean,
Oh, goodness.
I think that's it from my end, Commissioner.
All right. Attorney Schuler, we're up to you.
All right, good afternoon, Commissioners. Action item number 1 is the proposed lease with the SBA Tower Company for the St. Teresa Alligator Point Volunteer Fire Department Communications Antenna. After lots of discussion, we are in final form with this lease agreement for me to recommend approval to the board. We've discussed many of the different items that I've gone over with SBA. I'll go into as much detail as the board wants me to get into, but essentially we're in a form of the contract that I am recommending approval, and it is the 3-year term that the board directed at the last board meeting, with potentially 4 3-year renewals for a potential total contract term of 15 years. And it's still got the same termination provision. You can terminate before the end of any term, the initial term or the renewal term, as long as you give them more than 120 days notice before the end of the term.
All right. Pleasure of the board.
So moved.
All right, we have a motion to approve by Commissioner Amison,
Second.
second by Commissioner Ward. Any discussion? All in favor? Any opposed? That's unanimous.
Action item number 2, the code enforcement policy and procedures was handled earlier in the meeting. Action item number 3 is an FWC REEF grant agreement for the 2024-2025 timeframe. Essentially, they're calling for the construction of 26 prefabricated modules at least 4 feet tall, creating 2 reef patches within the Buddy Ward. I misspelled it, I'm sorry. It's not Bubby, it's Buddy. Ward Reef permitted area. I have shown this scope of work to the Reef Association that has been basically administering and helping the county with the prior reefs that have been constructed, that they are okay with, don't have any objection to the scope of the work. In fact, Mr. Grayson Shepherd is here if y'all have any questions for him regarding any further details. If you do not have any further questions, then I'm recommending board approval for the chairman to sign this current agreement and to also authorize Mr. Morone, as you have on prior grants, to sign whatever further follow-on documentation is needed for basically the offloading of the reef modules onto the barge. I know at one point they had to have some county official sign off on a document as they were loading it or something, and it potentially was going to create a delay. So we're trying to front-end load the solution to that problem now.
All right.
So moved.
We have a motion to approve by Commissioner Amison,
Second.
second by Commissioner Crew. Any discussion? All in favor? Any opposed? That's unanimous.
Okay, item number 4 may require a little more discussion. Over in the Carroll Beach area is a county road called Cape Street. Cape Street runs from Highway 98 up north to Lighthouse Road. The part of the road that we're talking about now, I'm just going to, for convenience, refer to it as the north half of Cape Street. It runs across and within the boundaries of a platted lot that's owned by 2 individuals, Donald and Kay Faircloth. They have expressed a desire to dedicate the length and width of the north half of Cape Street to the county, with the proviso that they want to make sure that the remaining portion of their lot remains buildable. I've consulted both with the surveyor and the road department to look at the issue to make sure that we have the correct length and width of the area for the north half of Cape Street that's located within the Faircloth property. The road department went out and looked at the flags for the corners, width and length. The report I got back was that Buster was okay with that. I went back to the surveyor and had them basically clarify some issues specifically regarding the width of the road, because it wasn't clear to me what the survey was showing as the width of the road, but all of that's now been worked out. I have also consulted with Justin Steele, your new planner, and he has provided to me a provision in one of your Muni Code reported ordinances from 1980 or 82, I think, 1980, Ordinance 80-8, which means that the remaining portion of this private property after the dedication would still remain buildable in the planner's opinion. I don't see anything that's incorrect about his conclusion. So I am requesting 2 things. One, that the board accept this offer of dedication, and 2, confirm through a board motion that the remainder of this lot will remain buildable pursuant to section 14-2 of Ordinance 80-8 as that is reported on Muni Code.
Mr. Chairman, so move with comment.
Okay, we have a motion to approve by Commissioner Ward,
Second.
second by Commissioner Sanders. Go ahead, Commissioner.
This all stems from back when Commissioner Mass was on the board. He was trying to get Cape Street paved.
Yep.
But when they did the survey, they realized that some of this property that supposedly we own, which is the north side, we don't own all of, we own all of Cape Street, but there was this one little section that actually went into these Mr. and Ms. Faircloth's land. So they were not able to pave the road. So negotiations, I spoke with the Faircloths on multiple occasions on trying to get them to grant us this property. That was their only concern. I wanted to make sure that it was kind of back and forth for a little while as to whether or not we were going to be able to work to get it done. But finally, I'm able to thankfully get it done. So now we own that, but I also wanted to make sure that they would not have any issues, because that was their concern. When they did decide to potentially build on that lot, that they would not get turned away because of the fact that it didn't have the exact amount of property that the county requires to build a house. And so I wanted to make sure and be on the record that if they come back and want to build, that that is a buildable lot, and we will allow them to do that because of this piece of property that they're giving to the county. Does that make sense?
Yep, it does.
Mr. Chairman, just a question. Is there anything that we can vote on today that would automatically or guarantee there a variance or setback for that?
That is what we're doing right now. And as far as the setbacks, I did have the surveyor, I asked him to go back and just make sure there was buildable space on the remaining portion of the property, because I thought that was important for the fair costs to have that information when they were making their decision on the offer of dedication. And according to the surveyor, there's plenty of room on the remaining portion of the lot to build a structure and still comply with the setbacks. Now, can they build a 4 million square foot house? No, but there's plenty of room on that property. It's a full acre lot, and then about a quarter acre of that is being taken off for the road dedication, so that leaves them with 3/4 of a lot. I mean, you can build a really big house on 3/4 of an acre.
And the property owners are?
Yes. Yes.
That they have expressed to me that this is voluntary and it's something that they want. I know the process has been a little frustrating to them. I mean, from my perspective, spending 2 to 3 months to work through all of this with the different things that needed to be, the boxes that had to be checked off, and dealing with surveyors, and everybody knows how, or most people who are familiar with real estate know how busy surveyors are. So to me, it was within a reasonable period of time. So. But yes, what'll happen at this point, assuming that the board approves the 2 phases of the motion that I've suggested. One is accepting the offer of dedication. The second is confirming that based on section 14-2 of ordinance 80-8 as it's embedded in Muni Code, that the remaining portion of the lot after the dedication will remain buildable.
And that's
Once
including with
done-
compliance with setbacks, yes. And I made the motion, I believe.
Yep, no, we have a motion in a second.
Yes.
Any more discussion before we vote? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That's unanimous.
Just so the board is aware, at this point, I will prepare essentially a deed, send it to the fair cloth, they will sign it and return it to me, and I'll record it. And then once that is done, then the official dedication will occur, okay? And then the last action item is number 7 on my report. It is for the Commercial Property Assessed Clean Energy Program. My apologies to the chair for getting my wires crossed. I thought it was an information item to be followed by an action item. Now, this particular group, I noticed there's someone from Florida Development. Is that the PACE program people?
I do not know. I can't read that far, sorry.
It says Florida Development Finance Corporation. Is that CPACE? No?
Florida Finance Corporation ship, I thought.
The ones that's on there?
Yeah.
Well, I just didn't know if we had someone from that group that was going.
Well, they said they would be attending today, but I couldn't tell them a time certain it would be on the agenda, so
Okay.
they might not be on there.
So the proposal before you is from a group called the Florida Resiliency and Energy District, an acronym known as FRED. As you know, the tax collector had expressed just not necessarily concern about this group, but about PACE financing in general, and asked y'all to give him the opportunity to look into this group. Recently, the tax collector held a meeting with myself and Commissioner Jones. He's expressed that he's looked into FRED, and FRED apparently is one of the good guys in the industry. The tax collector, does not have any objection to the board moving forward with the commercial PACE program. As I'd indicated in one of the paragraphs of my report, the tax collector's indicated that with conditions, he's not opposed to the approval of the FRED CPACE financing for commercial properties within a limited geographic scope of the county. I know at one point, and I understand the tax collector at least made the attempt to get in touch with each one of the commissioners prior to this meeting to express his issues directly. At least that's my understanding. But he wants to have a limited geographic scope. It could be just the East Point Urban Service Area. The chairman has suggested maybe broadening that a little bit larger. The map's already up. which is basically an economic opportunity zone that runs from East Point all the way over to the Tilly Miller Bridge, and then it runs north and south from the north boundary of the county all the way down to, I guess, Apalachicola Bay, St. George Sound. I have attached copies of both the proposed interlocal agreement and the resolution of authorizing Fred to operate in the county only as to commercial properties. The proposal is within these two geographic districts. There are some changes that need to be made to the document, but I think you could approve subject to attorney approval, as we did earlier in the meeting for the contract for the hospital. Nothing fundamental on the changes to the contract I want to take out. For example, assuming there's litigation between us and them, they want to be able to take us to the district court in Tallahassee. I don't want that provision in there. Also needs to be amended to limit the area, because right now their proposal is to be countywide as opposed to being limited geographically.
Yep.
So unless the chairman has anything further to present, that's all I have for the board.
So, Mr. Chairman, that someone from the Florida Development Finance Corporation has
Oh,
raised their
that
hand
is,
to speak.
okay. Well, before they do, that's fine. So, yes, so when we met, in weeks after the last time we talked about this with Mr. Watson, the current tax collector, his only, I guess, caveat he had was he wanted to be a more of a limited scope on area. And I'm the one that brought up about the fact that we already have an economic opportunity zone area. It's in and around East Point, but it does go to the west side of Carabel, up to the Tilly Miller Bridge. So he said that was fine. He was much more comfortable with that discussion than he was it being countywide. So that was the bulk of the discussion we had with Mr. Watson. But yeah, go ahead, Michael.
Hold on just a second,
Okay.
Mr. Chairman. For Attorney Schuler, I know you kind of skipped the C-PACE before I could ask you about this with the concern of the Cape Street.
Yes.
Is there a way that we can formulate a letter to the Fair Clause stating what we did today? So in the future, they have a copy of a letter that states, because say they decide they don't want to build a house right now, and 5 years later, they come back and say they do. I don't want them to have any issues going to our planning and zoning building department pulling permit, and then them saying, oh, well, your lot's not buildable.
That's what
How about a letter accompanied by a certified copy of the portion of the board meeting minutes?
Well,
I
that's,
think that would work great.
yeah, and I know that you can always pull up board minutes but some people don't think about doing that. So I want something in writing for them to give them, so that they know and have in their hand more than board minutes. I know you can go by board minutes, but something official, an official document of some kind, if we can.
Sure.
Okay.
Come up with something, and have to bring it back to the board for y'all's approval.
You get Justin to draft it, is what I would do.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman, with that, that's what I was kind of alluding to a moment ago, because not just them, I mean, what if they
Right.
sell the property
Yeah.
Right.
to an individual down the road, then they're sitting there coming in trying to build, they're like, well, you don't have enough.
Right.
But if we had something that accompanied that property,
Sure.
you know,
I'll get Justin to word the letter.
I
and give it to
appreciate
you.
that, because I just want to make sure they don't have any issues, because that was all pending on this agreement.
So can I ask a question, Mr. Chairman?
Yes, you can.
So Commissioner Ward, would that make it to where you could pave
Yes.
Cape Street
Yes,
then?
yes, that's the
Okay.
whole point of this.
I was wondering why you didn't ever do it.
Yeah, that's why. I was going to, and then I realized that Commissioner Massey tried, and I couldn't, so I just been talking to him for a while, and he finally decided to do it, so.
Yeah.
Now granted, am I gonna
That's
pave it
good.
at,
That's good.
now, no, I mean, we've learned what, talking about our paving of the roads.
You know, that's what we've been discussing. too.
But I will say, it's nice to know in the event we get some money to pave roads, that option is there and we don't have that issue come up again. That's my whole point with that. We can do it if we want to, legally. We have,
Well, that's what we've been talking about in the last few meetings, about structures in, I think you mentioned it, Mr. Chairman, last meeting about structures in the county right of way. You know, we've got a lot of that in the county that we never have did anything about, but I agree with you. I'm glad you're gonna be able to pave it now, but,
when I get some money, maybe I'll hit the lottery one day and,
yeah.
yeah, we'll see.
You got more money than some of us. Mr. Cole, go ahead and go to,
And they're actually waiting for you to allow them to talk, so
Okay.
they are on mute.
if you would, please proceed, sir.
Yes, sir. This is Ryan Barkus from the Florida Development Finance Corporation. Appreciate you guys allowing me to hop on. I just wanted to kind of reiterate when I was there in September that we administrate the Florida Resilience and Energy District, which is a commercial-only program. To the point I think you guys were asking before, so there is no residential within our program. And then I'm also very open to having conversation with your county attorney and staff on limiting the boundaries. I understand that's a concern for the tax collector, and I did have a conversation with him after the meeting in September. And as a final reminder, this is a no cost to the county for this program. So these are private dollars, and the FDFC administrates the program fully. So once you guys adopt this, then everything runs through the FDFC. So there's no administrative burden to the county. So here to answer any other questions if you guys have them about our agreement.
Thank you, Mr. Marcus. Commissioners,
Yes,
do
sir.
y'all have any questions?
Not right now.
All right. Pleasure of the board. We did move this to the agenda for discussion, possible action today.
Are you satisfied with the area,
Yes, ma'am.
the urban
Well,
area?
more than that, and what Mr. Watson brought up, is this seems to be a really good company. There have been some across the state that haven't been.
That's right.
So if we're gonna try it out, let's try it in a more limited form. So, yeah, I'm happy with the discussion, Commissioner.
I'll make the motion.
All right, so we have a motion to approve by Commissioner Amison,
Second.
second from Commissioner Sanders. Any additional discussion before we vote? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? That's unanimous. Anything else? Thank you, Mr. Barkus. Anything else, Attorney Schuler?
That is all the action items on my report.
All right. Anyone have any questions for Attorney Schuler?
I have just one. Me and you have discussed the road being cut in the district or in the county area.
Yes.
Did you make any headway on?
I have not been able to find any ordinance other than the one that Mr. Marone's already provided to you. Jessica, she's also looked and she hasn't been able to find one either.
Not this Jessica.
From the clerk's office, Jessica, behind me, yes. So that must be it.
Okay.
So, oh, and just so the board knows, I did communicate with Mr. Randall Terry earlier this morning about the move-out date for his hangar, the 1st of May. He said he should be able to work with that. So I'm going to prepare the addendum to the lease with the termination at $50,000 with the effective move-out date of May the 1st. Yeah, I'll go ahead and send that to Mr. Terry and have him sign it and bring it back to the chairman.
All right. Thank you, sir.
I guess that actually reminds me, or raises a question, the timing of the payment of the $50,000, is that, have y'all, what instructions do I have from the board in terms of, we just get it signed and we send him the money? Is that what the board, is that what you're thinking, Commissioner Amison?
Well, actually, I'd rather have a little bit of input from my fellow board members on that. I mean, what are y'all comfortable with?
So, I mean, if it's never had these kind of conversations before, but if it's a formal buyout of a lease, then the day he hands us the keys should be the day we hand him the check.
Okay.
That's what I would think, but, you're asking, so I'm giving input.
I believe, per discussion, he's got some interest in some other construction offsite away from here.
Yes, in Alabama.
I think that's why he is wanting to liquidate as quickly as he possibly can too as well. Maybe it's worth going back and let's just see what we can, if that's palatable for him.
Okay.
As well.
I'm good with
And
either way.
just, yeah, that's what I was getting at. I mean, I hadn't had that definite discussion with him, but it'd be worth just kind of feeling him out and see where he's at with it.
The only suggestion I would have for the board to consider is no upfront payments in total.
Yeah.
I mean, possibly a part payment on signature and a final payment on move out, some kind of an incentive, but obviously that will be a decision for the board to make.
Okay,
All right, anyway, thank you.
all right. Anyone else have anything for Attorney Shore? So we are now at Commissioner comments.
Mr. Chairman, I have one.
Go
I
ahead.
just want to thank my constituents of District 5 and, well, really all of Franklin County for putting me in the seat for the next 4 years. It's been an honor and a privilege to serve 4 years already, and I'm looking forward to another 4 years, sitting on this board with my fellow board members and working with county staff to continue to move Franklin County forward. And I'm just humbled and honored to be here. And I appreciate my family coming out, taking time out of their busy days, even though my dad's retired and don't really have anything to do anymore. But
He's doing what he wants to do, though.
but yeah, I'm just appreciative of them coming out and
It was
supporting
good
me.
seeing him. It was good seeing
We
him,
don't get out
Judge.
much.
I think a lot of Bruce, he's a good man. I've got one thing,
Yes, ma'am.
a very important thing. A week from Thursday will be Thanksgiving Day.
It sure will.
And I want to wish everyone in Franklin County a very blessed Thanksgiving. And I hope the families can get together and share the food and share the laughs and share the memories.
Yep.
And that's what it's all about. And remember that we are Franklin County and we do take care of each other here. And I read somewhere earlier that they were going to be offering free meals to somebody that, if they needed it, Seacrest, I think it was, Seacrest Realty.
I know that,
It's gonna
I
be-
know that, if I'm remembering right, I think they do something every year at the Red Pirate as well, for
Do
people,
that.
for people that don't have anything.
Yeah, I tell you what, that's getting to be, that's what's so special and unique about this county, about this community. I call it the whole county a community, is we care about each other and we wanna help each other out. When we have hard times, we're all in the hard times together. But when we have good times, we share in the good times together, and that's what it's all about, right there.
Mr. Chairman, so I want to bring up one thing, because this happened last year, so the governor has given has closed the state offices on Wednesday. But that is not a county holiday, nor is it a courthouse holiday, because, the clerk has court, and, it's just not one of our holidays. However, I know last year, some of your constitutional officers were closed, and there was a little frustration expressed to some of the commissioners, because they called me, and I'm like, well, we don't control when your constitutional officers open or close. So they may close, some of them follow the state, as well as the county holidays, they may or may not, but I just wanna kinda give you guys a heads up on that in case you get a call. They need to call that constitutional officer about that close, because the courthouse is gonna be open, so they will think they can come and conduct all business as usual at the courthouse, and they may not be able to, they might, I don't know.
Well, Michael, that is something that we do need to get input on. I know you're gonna have some new constitutional officers. And we've already voted on the holidays for next year. If they wanna change anything, they really need to give us input, because those off days should not be willy-nilly. People should know months in advance if an office is gonna be open or closed.
That's right.
I don't agree with part of it being open and part of it being closed. I know I'm not a constitutional, but in some instances, they're doing the people wrong. If the courthouse is open, they should be there. But, that's just my own personal opinion.
Can I make a comment on it?
Yes.
I feel the same way you do, Mr. Chairman, because even though some people do, I don't have to have a license no more. But if you'll remember, Thanksgiving Day is opening and hunting season in
Yes.
Franklin County. And some people wait until that Wednesday to get their hunting
Yeah,
license.
they do.
And although they got it online, a lot of people don't use the online procedure. So, I'm like you, they need to let us know well ahead
Yes.
of it.
Yeah, I have no problem with either way, but we just need to, it just doesn't come across well.
Make people aware.
Anyone else with commissioner comments?
I do, Mr. Chairman.
Yes.
Now that the election's over and we're past that, I'd like for this commission to consider something. And not trying to throw anything out there, just kind of roll it around, but about moving our meeting days. We have it on a Tuesday. Most of the holidays fall on a Monday, which we don't have time to prepare for, you know, the meeting because staff's off, stuff like that. Just floating some ideas out there. I know Mondays are a rough day for you. We have two in particular staff members, which is Aaron and Michael, with late ads, stuff like that. It just seems like they're getting gobbled up about 2 weekends out of the month, trying to get prepared for a Tuesday. And I'm just throwing some ideas out there. I don't know in the past why we haven't or why it is the way it is. Maybe some people could give me some feedback that's been here longer.
Yeah, I don't know.
i.e.,
Always been Tuesday.
well-
If it ain't Tuesday, it's on Monday.
And another thing is I don't think the elections are gonna revolve around our county commission meetings neither. And going back to last week, you know, here I was, one foot in this door, 1 foot down at the canvassing board.
You did a
which
good job,
Which may
too.
be somebody, well, that's why we got 90-something% turnout.
That's right.
because
Because
I
of you,
was there.
yes.
There you
But
go.
anyway,
We finally figured that out. Good job.
no,
Had
now,
the
so
best
that,
in the
You're gonna
state.
end up with a permanent
but
job.
no, seriously, you know, I joke around a lot, but seriously, it's just something that I've been thinking about even before the election. But I was like, why is it on a Tuesday? And I just didn't know if there was some type of historical reason. I know it was just mentioned that court's on Wednesdays. I just don't, I'm just looking for some feedback from you guys, something y'all keep in mind. And,
I'm good with it.
Mr. Chairman, I know Monday, Tuesday, Wednesdays is out because it's church day and I guess court day. So one of the other options would be Thursday or Friday.
We don't have
Well-
court in here on Wednesday,
Oh.
so Wednesday would be good. If county court ever moves back over here, Thursdays will be out because that's its big court day. So if you're gonna move it, it'd have to be on a Wednesday. And I would tell you, if you move it on a Wednesday, you would keep any night, public hearings, workshops, anything on a Tuesday night before the meeting on a Wednesday morning. If
that's
you
what I
ever
was about
make
to
a
say. If
change.
we're gonna have a public hearing, we can just have it on
Night before.
the night before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, we're not tied with a public hearing, so to speak, to our meeting day. I know we've done that in the past, but since we've moved important public hearings to the evening, we can kind of float that on whatever day we prefer.
Yeah.
You know,
I'm good
but
with
I
all
mean,
that
if it's
discussion.
one of those not very popular public hearings and we just throw it in at the back of a commission meeting, we're still done by the time anybody has a church or anything like that. But
Yeah.
it was
That's
just,
my
it was
only
just a
concern
thought.
is the church. I know I
Yeah.
volunteer with youth, and I know Commissioner Jones
Oh, yeah.
occasionally maybe teach or preach, but that's my only concern about Wednesdays is church night and all that stuff.
Back to what I was just saying, you know, as far as a public hearing in the afternoon, that's the only time it would have an effect, but we can control that by having the public hearing the night before, or Tuesday or the evening before and whatnot. But it's just a thought, throwing it out there.
Yep.
Just trying to figure out ways that I can perform this job better.
Yeah, it would
And-
help,
and-
it would have to be a little bit further from Mondays, because there's a lot of Mondays that lady and that guy are still working, doesn't matter if it is a
Exactly.
holiday.
Well, that's what, you know,
And
I've
they're
had
working
people.
all day long.
Honestly, I've had people going, well, why had, you know, I've been online looking, this sitting there and this sitting there, and like, well, you know, they hadn't got it out yet, we had some late ads, we have this. You know, and granted, there's some things they can get done on the weekend, you know?
Well, another thing to think about too is I don't know no reason why it was on a Tuesday, do you?
Commissioner, it's been that way
always
as long
been
as
on
I can
Tuesday.
remember.
Back, as far as I can remember, it's been on Tuesday, but my thing is, anything to do with Florida Association of Counties or anything we have to go, it's always Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. So then you messed up there, see. So, I don't know, we can roll it around in our heads and let's see,
Just some food for thought,
yeah.
that's why I brought it up in comments.
So,
Yeah.
Michael, it might be something where we could look at all the different associations and our organizations that we have a part in, and see when they normally do their schedule, and then we can have a valid discussion on it, maybe at the next meeting.
Okay, I'll
You
try.
know, I think that'd be good. Anyone else?
Doesn't Gulf County only meet once a month?
Once a month, sir,
Once a month?
once a month.
On Monday then.
Yeah, but we're not apt to do everything Gulf County does, sir.
Oh.
When they publish their agenda, it says so-and-so by so-and-so, that's it.
I'm
That's
just
all
talking
you get.
about moving the date.
That's all you get on their agenda.
We're gonna
trying to
start meeting quarterly,
Yeah.
so the public knows that I'm gonna push for quarterly
I
meetings.
know. I know week before last, I was at the TAC meeting up in Bluntstown, and one of the discussions was the Sun Trail. But one of the representatives from Gulf County, Mr. Jim Mike Knight, was there. And he said, well, you know, it kind of surprised me. I went to a county commission meeting. They call it sort of like a special county commissioner meeting. And he said, we went there, and he said, we're usually out in 30 minutes. But it took 2 hours to take care of all of our business.
I know why that is.
Uh-huh, uh-huh. And I'm saying, well, you know, I can remember back in the day, in the early, what I call early days, 1998, in the early days there that I came on board, we was out in 30 minutes, but you didn't have no business to take care of that. And you didn't have hardly any development coming in. You didn't have as many departments as what we have now.
Yeah.
So you didn't have, you know, you didn't have all that, so.
Well, your agenda's not about to get shorter because y'all said y'all wanted to keep me in the chair position. So we're not gonna have a shorter agenda. I'll just go ahead and tell you. We're gonna try to take care of business.
Well, I can tell you one thing on that. As a wee little lad growing up in 2 Mile, back whenever your granddaddy was setting up here and Mr. Wade and them, I think most of it was taken care of at Bayside Coffee Shop before we ever got here.
Before Sunshine Law, absolutely,
probably
and you
was.
know it.
That was before the time of sunshine, I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To remind everybody, Franklin County High School is hosting a playoff game this Friday night. They are playing Fort Meade, I think. They do have a chance if they win, and if Port St. Joe wins, they will face each other in the Final Four. So our football program is 6-4. They had a winning season. They've made it to the playoffs. It is this Friday night. So if you're doing nothing else on Friday night, I'm sure they would love to see you there in the stands. And before I finish, I would like to say that, like Commissioner Ward was talking about, you know, we've seen a lot in the news and the media, and everything's been about elections and people choosing sides and different things. But at the end of the day, if you have the opportunity to actually win an election, like I was fortunate enough to do, I am now required and should be understanding that I'm representing everyone that lives in the district that I serve, in the county that I serve. I've done that for 8 years now, and I fully intended to do it for 4 more. But I'm very thankful for all the residents of District 1 that affirmed that they liked the job that they saw me attempting to do on their behalf. And it's a very humbling experience. And I'm very thankful for that going into this Thanksgiving time, that I'm thankful that I've not only got to grow up here, but I've had a chance to serve here in a way that I never could have imagined as a child growing up here. So I'm very thankful for that. Anyone else with commissioner comments?
Lastly here, you know, I was appointed to the seat that I'm sitting in, and I'm very grateful for my constituents putting me in this seat. Because not everybody get elected.
No.
So, but I'm very grateful and to be able to serve with the rest of the commission for 4 years. So, thank you.
Mr. Chairman.
Yes, sir.
Before you adjourn, I need a motion. Thank God we had that discussion.
A motion?
Thank you very much. Yes, I do. I need a motion to approve the travel and to authorize the clerk to run manual checks, because Mrs. Griffith had all your travel sitting on her desk and she forgot to
Can
add
we
it and bring it
make a
over.
motion since we're in commissioner comments?
Oh,
How's that work?
can
Not
anyone-
supposed to,
Well-
but I would
How
recommend.
about I put it retroactively, how do y'all
Yeah,
feel if I put it?
let's just do a retroactive
We'll
approval.
we'll
next
ratify
week.
it at the next
Yeah,
meeting.
At the
that's
next meeting.
fine.
Okay, but she does have everybody who's just all 4 set up. The only one that is Commissioner Amoson's the only one she didn't prepare one for.
That
But
Aaron?
Yes.
everybody's schedule, no,
Need
Courtney.
that AI?
Courtney has everybody's schedule, really?
AI.
Really? Courtney has everybody's schedule and booked for the
That you
conference.
wasn't it?
Michael,
As long as we're not gonna run afoul of anything.
Yes, yes, everything is done, hotel,
Okay.
And your travels, everything has
Okay.
been done.
Attorney Schuler, if we try to do it retroactive, is that still
I
gonna
would
allow
just-
her to cut
Just
the
go ahead and
checks?
make a motion.
Okay.
We'll make an exception.
I'll go ahead and make a motion to approve.
I second.
All right.
Thank you, guys.
Any more discussion before we vote on Commissioner Sanders' motion and Commissioner Amoson's second? All in favor?
Aye.
Any
Aye.
opposed? That's unanimous.
That'll make
I
it a lot
noticed
better
my
with
name
her.
wasn't called on that, Mike. I guess I'll get reimbursement.
Oh, you're
next time.
going?
Yeah.
Oh, I'll let her know, okay,
That's okay. I'll get reimbursed later.
okay.
He handles his own stuff, that way
I'm-
he gets in the hotel he
Yeah.
wants to be in.
You know what?
I do, but I did-
I really hate
You want-
it. Okay,
Ow.
okay, I'm gonna make
There's
everything.
nothing foul by me.
I'll make some time off. Then she said, "Oh no, disregard. I had it set for the next meeting." I'm like, "Guys, it's okay."
The next meeting's too late.
Yeah, it is. You guys are good to go. Don't worry about it.
She
All right.
definitely needs
Anyone
it.
else?
Yeah, I'm gonna set her with you guys.
We need to have lunch more often. This was a whole lot funner. Meeting